Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another gunpla review, and today I'm going to be taking a look at not one but two things, and that of course is the high-grade Saturnix Unit and the high-grade Saturnix weapons. Both of these you need to combine with the core Gundam from the Ureven to build the high-grade Saturnix Gundam. But anyway, as usual, this video right here would not be possible without those absolutely awesome people over at HobbyLink Japan. So if you do want one of your own, there's a link down there in the description. Actually, there's two, one for each of these. And don't forget, we now also have a coupon to get 10% off. That is down there too. But anyway, on to the review. So anyway, this right here is what we get once we put everything in the two boxes together. But first off, let's take a look at said boxes. So first off, in here we do have the Saturnix Unit. So this is just the armor, as you can see right here. All the green stuff on here, that does not come included. That is sold separately, which is the core Gundam, which comes with Ureven, and the weapons that come in the second box, we'll be taking a look at soon. On the side of the box here, we've got a breakdown of everything that comes in here, which of course is the planet system, support unit, a couple of extra hands, as well as that Saturn armor. Here's just a blurb about the series, but you probably know about that already, so on to the other side. And what we got here is an image of the Saturnix Unit, that is the Saturn armor on that planet system. Next up then, we've got the core Gundam 2 sold separately. Honestly, personally, I would have loved if there was one of these included in a different color like we saw with some of the other core Gundam kits from Season 1, but hey, it is kind of annoying if you want to, well, build all of these Gundams at the same time. You will need multiples of the one particular kit, but hey, some people prefer it this way. Personally, I would have liked another little dude included. Anyway, there's what it will look like once the core Gundam 2 is attached into this armor. There is the weapons, once again sold separately, and there is the completed Saturnix Gundam with its weapons. Now onto box number 2. Next up then, we've got the box of the Saturnix weapons. This is one of the smaller boxes, like a lot of the optional weapons. There are the two weapons. There is a backpack adapter for using with other kits, and here on the side we can see absolutely everything about this. Once again, two weapons, which is the vice pliers and the breaker drill. So we've got a pair of close combat weapons this time. So this is the melee variant of core Gundam 2. And then over here we can see what it will look like on another kit. The backpack adapter is included. So anyway, my core Gundam 2 is still inside of the Jupiter armor here, so you might want to see what that looks like. There is the back. This is a pretty cool combo right here, but let's check it out with this armor. Whoops, didn't mean to knock that over. So before we pop the Saturn armor and the Saturn weapons onto the core Gundam 2, here's a quick look at what it looks like on the planet system unit. So once again, it's this kind of flared out like version that we saw with the Uranus armor. It's in orange as you'd expect, and has that big old weapon on the back that kind of gives it a bit of a pointy beaked bird kind of vibe. Definitely a cool little unit right here. So we're going to pop off the weapons first, and then we're going to take a look at each of the armor pieces while we pop them on to make it a little bit different from what we've done before. So enter core Gundam 2. So first off, taking a quick look at the leg, this time we have a thruster on the side instead of one of those little sniper assistance units. And around here on the back, we do have an actual working wheelie wheel. Kind of like the red beret, but I don't know if that actually worked. This one does. So as for attaching this, it attaches on exactly the same as what we would have seen before. However, just like with the last one we saw, which is the Ureven Gundam, the foot does attach into a little section on the back, like a little bit of a foot scabbard even. So this does make it a little bit difficult to attach. To line both the foot and the slot up at the same time can be a little bit of a challenge at times. But I will say, make sure to put it on the right leg. Not like me. Next up, as for that butt flap, as well as the waist armor round front and the armor on the body, this is all identical to what we would have seen before, just this time in orange. The same goes for the arms, once again the same as we saw before, just in orange. The shoulders in here are rocking this little moving mechanism here, which can attach the weapons, which we'll look at once we're looking at the weapons. These slide on just like we would have seen before, and yeah, that has been happening to me a lot with this kit, so I just put it back on the way it was, so it did fall off again. And with this core Gundam 2, it may just be the one I have right here, it has been dropping stuff like this a lot, including the loose hands you would have seen in another review, so I have to put this on pointing backwards or it will just fall off all the time. So that right there is the way it's gonna have to stay. The last bit then, of course, is the extra V-fin, and this time it's pretty cool. So instead of being an actual V-fin style, this is more akin to a pair of tiny little Oni horns and a bit of a armored face. This is a pretty neat design right here. So before moving on to the weapons and seeing that full package, here is the Core Gundam 2 with that Saturn armor attached. This definitely is a little bit reminiscent of the Cheese Master color-wise, but quality-wise it's definitely a lot better, loose arm and all. But once I have the arm flipped around to the back, I'm not having that issue anymore. And all in all, this is a big, chunky Gundam, but not quite as chunky as we would have seen with the Ureven. Now onto the weapons. So this right here is what comes in the Saturnix weapons box. So that is the drill over here, and the vice pliers over here, as well as a pair of handles, and a backpack for using with other kits or with the Core Gundam. So first taking a look at the drill, on the underside here we do have this movable little segment that pops off like this. This of course is the attachment point, so you can have it up towards the end, down towards the back. This is the default position the manual says to build it in, so that's the one I left it in. This whole thing can spin if you want to give that drilly action. As what we've got right here is just a 3mm hole. That means you could just pop it onto the arm with this right here, but we do have included handles for attaching this into the hand. But before we do pop it into the hand, this is the vice. Once again, we've got that bit that can move up and down from here. These sections can open up like this, so this does have an actual functional grabby end. That's as far as it can open up. Then it can close forward just like so. And once again, there it is, back into the closed position. This can also rotate at this point, attach onto the arm using this, or we can attach the handle on like that. The backpack adapter we have in here has a whole bunch of different parts. This is for attaching into the backpack. These are for attaching the pegs we just saw in, just like this. This holds on pretty well. It is a little bit loose feeling because this isn't a full 3mm peg hole. This is a little bit, well, hollow in parts, so it isn't a full entire circle on the top, which leaves it a little bit on the loose side. A little bit. Not too bad, it could be worse. So your choices here are to pop it into the backpack as we're about to do. So that just slots in there like so that can be worn on the backpack like this. The instructions does show this being done with the Core Gundam, but I have the armor on there already, so that's what it looks like. On the Saturnix Gundam, with the handles attached, these can just slot into the hands like that and like that. So now that both of those weapons are attached, there is the Saturnix Gundam up on the shelf, fully loaded with all the contents of the Saturnix armor box and the Saturnix weapons. Once again, this is a shelf of mainly master grade kits, which will make it look a little bit smaller than it actually is, but this still stands to give a pretty good idea of what it will look like in a collection. That orange is definitely unique, so it will stand out quite a bit, unless you've got yourself a Cheese Master in there. I don't know if I'm hungry or what, but the combination of the orange, yellow, and red kind of gives me a bit of a condiments vibe, like cheese sauce, ketchup, mustard. Yeah, maybe I'm just hungry. After doing all that, I realized I forgot to actually stick the shield onto it, so flip that section around. Once again, let's pop that in there into the backpack like so. And there is what it looks like with everything attached properly this time around. So that is the shield round there in the booty, all those weapons attached in the hands, and that is actually what the completed Saturnix Gundam should look like. So popping off that handle, we do have that little peg in there, so like I mentioned, you can probably attach that onto the arm like so for this kind of hands-free way of holding the weapons. It definitely looks pretty cool, like some kind of drill tonfa. Or there is the storage options for these, which is popping them up here onto the shoulder armor like this. So there's the drill, and then there is the vice. So like I mentioned earlier on, these do have some articulation built into them, so this can flip back out of the way like this, and flip forward like this. I almost forgot to mention that the Saturnix armor does come with this alternate widespread left hand, which looks a little something like that right there once it's attached. So anyway, that right there is it for my review of the Saturnix unit and the Saturnix weapons. I absolutely love the Saturnix weapons. They're pretty cool, they're solid, and they're awesome. As for the armor, it's exactly what we would have seen with the Ureven armor, except this time it is in orange. It has plenty of very nice detail, and it's pretty cool for the most part. However, I do have a question for you guys, and that is, to those of you who do have the Core Gundam 2, are you having as many issues with it as I am? At first it seemed like it was okay, just as good as the standard Core Gundam, but the knees have been a little bit on the kind of wiggly side. The arms do keep dropping the hands and the armor parts quite a little bit, and the waist is starting to separate a lot on me. a whole lot of the time. So I'm wondering, do you guys who have this kit have those issues, or is it just the one I have right here? So because of that, I'm not actually going to throw a tier on this kit right now because of those odd little issues I have been having with the Core Gundam 2. But anyway, once again, as usual, if you do want one of these of your own, or should I say one of these Saturnix Unit and one of the Saturnix weapons, there are some links down there in the description and you can get yours at Hobby Link Japan. Once again, we do have a 10% off coupon. That is also down there in the description, but it can only be used once until the end of August. So if you are going to use it, make it count. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I will see you next time. Once again, all my unending thanks to each and every one of you guys. Whether you just watch the videos, like the videos, share them, or support me on the channel memberships and over on Patreon like Craig Jerry, Kaiser721, Bolwig, Tyler Sanders, Caleb Engelhart, Hank Handsome, and Sean T.